you. Before the organization becomes effective, then you have to be effective first. So it starts again with you, because when you become the right person and you are able to identify what are the things you need to do, then you start to build, you start to do the tasks, the activities to get to your goals. And guess what? Your goals are the things you want to have. So this flowchart actually means the be, do, have flowchart. So let's start with you. How do you become the right person in this business? So number one, you have to ask yourself before we even start. Answer the question, why am I doing in global? Again, as I always say in my NDOs, in my trainings, what would I always say? You must have a compelling reason. Your first few months, not even months, your first few years here, you're just going to make minimal money, minimal income. And a lot of people will laugh at you and tell you that you made the wrong choice. You know what I'm saying? So, it's going to be very hard. So you must have a compelling reason. That's what I was saying before about having a monstrous why. A huge why. Enough why that, you can take all these, things that people say against you and against your business. A compelling reason that would be able to wake you up every morning, even if you're tired, and go to the office and still talk to people. A huge why, a deep why, that even if you're so tired from your work, that you're tempted to just go to your place and just rest and just go to sleep, this compelling reason and deep why push you to still talk to people and still go late at night and sleep late until, in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, it's going to be very hard if you don't have a compelling reason why you are doing this. So before anything else, in fact, even if I don't teach you, even if we do not guide you, even if we do not educate you, but if you have your own reason, a compelling reason, a huge why, a deep reason why you're doing this, even if you don't have any teachers and mentors, I'm telling you, that why will ultimately push you and guide you to become successful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's probably the same reason why you're here in UAE, foreign land for you, because you're far away from your families. A lot of you here are working as foreigners. And those sacrifices we can take because we have a huge reason. So ask yourself first. First, why am I doing it in global? Second, have you adopted all the attitudes necessary for your success? Because a lot of us would like to earn already, but sometimes we still lack the attitude to become successful. We are so impatient. Okay. We keep complaining. We're so negative. We become emotional. Simple rejection. So, can you imagine? If you try to study the life, or if you try to study all those successful people, then you would know that really what got them to their stage of becoming successful is that they have this right attitudes. That's why they became successful. So let's just take a look at our distributors here in Global, the top distributors, people who are making a lot of money already, people who made it to the top already. So just try to assess their attitudes. What kind of attitudes do these people possess? Why are they so successful? These people, I believe, are patient. These people have credibility. These people have the right character. And do you think upon joining AIM Global, these people already possess those attitudes, or those attitudes were developed along the way? They were developed along the way. How did they develop their attitudes? Trainings and experience. Because the best teacher is experience. Experience is so good that it gives you the tests first before the lesson. Unlike in universities, it's always the lessons first before the tests. Experience is the opposite. It's always the tests and comes the lesson afterwards. So, just take everything that comes your way as learning experiences so that you will be able to enhance the attitudes you need to become successful. So welcome those challenges. Do you believe you're capable of achieving your dreams? So you should be asking these things to yourself. Are you willing to pay the price? Because success has a cost. It doesn't come free. There's no such a thing as free lunch. You have to work for it. As I always say, last night I said it already because, you know, I quote The Rock, if you know the wrestler, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Okay, his success is he's always saying that he's not an overnight success. Okay, his overnight success took him 15 years to become successful. So there's no such a thing as overnight success. You really have to pray. You have to really pay the price before you become successful. Part of that, of course, is failure, frustration, discouragement, and setbacks. And as network marketers, believe me, these things should be normal for you. These things should be normal to us. This should never surprise you anymore. If you've been in this business for 2 years, and every time you get discouraged, every time there are prospects who walks away from you, and then you still ask yourself, what happened? What's happening to my business? I'm telling you, you are not growing. It should come to a point that these things, you are already immune to setbacks, discouragement, and frustration. Are you with me?
Yes.
And how can you become successful if, every time there are discouragements, setbacks, you get affected, you get emotional about it. And sometimes people, they take these things, failure, frustration, discouragement, setbacks, they take those things as signs or symptoms for their permanent failure. It's like, if they've never been making money for the last 5 months, they would be saying, oh, this is really not for me. This is a sign. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my downline quit. Okay. This is a sign I probably have to quit also. And if you ask, why do you have to quit? Well, my one downline quit, so why? I just have one side and no other side yet, and he quit already. Okay? As I was saying, there's cause of success. Success requires knowledge, preparation, and persistence. Again, you become successful based on the knowledge, how you prepare, and how you persist. Now, let's not just complicate things for now. You want to become successful, tell yourself, do you have enough knowledge? Yes, sir, I do have enough knowledge. Well, let me assess. How deep? What's the breadth, the width of your knowledge? Are you ready? Are you already, do you have the capacity? Do you have the knowledge to, handle a huge organization already? That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. You want to make $50,000 per month? Like Joseph Lim? Well, let me correct myself for that. I was saying that last night he made $60,000. That's wrong. It's supposed to be 600,000 USD in 1 year. The guy makes about what? 2.5 million a month. So that's about 50,000 USD. Am I right? Yeah. It's 50,000 times 50 pesos, that's 2.5 million. So therefore, 50,000 USD times 12 months, that's 600,000 US dollars for 2017 alone. I'm sorry, for 2016 alone. Now, if you want to make about 25,000 US dollars, 30,000 US dollars now, are you ready? Do you have the knowledge to handle a huge organization already? Now, the thing is, if you have 4 downlines and, you feel pressured and stressed already, how can you become successful? You have 4 downlines giving you headaches and you will go to your upline. May have 4 downlines, they're really very hard to handle. Can you imagine 4 people? And you ask yourself, you want to become successful? Come on, guys. Come on. How would the universe give you 1,000 people if 4 people you cannot handle? Are you with me?
Yes.
How prepared are you? You have to prepare. Can you speak publicly already? Can you assume leadership? Can you set a good example to your downlines already? Do you have strong leadership? Okay. Are you always upbeat? Are you always on the run in terms of getting your goals? So you have to be prepared. It's like any sports. You don't go to the ring. Boxing, for example. You don't go out there not being prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You don't go to basketball not being prepared. You have to stretch. You have to run. You have to prepare yourself. It's the same way in this business. Are you prepared? Do you have the skills? Do you know how to present? Do you know how to talk? Do you know how to close? Do you know how to handle people? And, of course, success requires persistence. You know, of all things, failure can never handle persistence. Persistence is like an ant who tries to devour a tiger. Can you imagine how persistence is so powerful? Persistence is like an ant who tries to devour a tiger. Small but repeated attempt will complete any undertaking. Small but repeated. 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 One-on-one but repeatedly done. One-on-one OPP but repeatedly done. One-on-one presentation online but repeatedly done. Again, persistence is like an ant who tries to devour our time. Small. But ladies and gentlemen, do it long term. You're going to have a huge organization and therefore make a lot of money. So, your attitude is very important because it affects your behavior. Your behavior affects your habit. Your habit affects your personality. Because you can tell a person how or what kind of person is based on their habits. Right? Based on what they do, because habits are routine. It's who you are. Again, let me repeat, attitude determines a person's behavior. And a person's behavior becomes their habit. And you can tell a person's personality based on their habit. And guess what? Your personality will impact your destiny. So can you imagine? Destiny will ultimately come or will ultimately be based upon your attitude. So make sure to get rid of your negative attitudes. Believe me. You have to change your life. You will never be able to change your life if you never change. You have to change first for the better, for your life, to change for the better as well. That's how it is. That's how it's been working. Some very important attitudes. So you have to have this unwavering belief. Because without belief, there is no action. You know, I've been a trainer for the last 20 years. Believe me. The power of belief, ladies and gentlemen, is immeasurable. Belief can change the way you perceive reality. I will repeat. Belief can change a person's perception of reality. Let me give you an example. Back in the Philippines, or practically, this is just an example, but it also happens, or it's also happening in the entire AIM global community all over the world, where people coming from poor family made it to the top. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
So take it from the example of Mr. Leo Caduyak of Tagbilaran, Bohol. Leo is one of our top distributors down in the southern Philippines. Right now, he's present, just to give you his present life in AIM Global, 6 years or 7 years in the business. Leo Caduyak is driving 3 cars. Okay? First car is a Mitsubishi Pajero. Probably here in Dubai, it's not a big deal to buy Pajero. But in the Philippines, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Because the price of cars here are actually twice when they go to the Philippines because of tax and duties. So like, if you know, if a Pajero here costs about 1.2, 1.3 million, in the Philippines, a Pajero costs about 2.5 million. 3 cars, Mitsubishi Pajero, he has a Toyota Fortuner, and he has a brand new Ford pickup Ranger. That's his present. is living in a 4-story building in their place, in their province. And this guy is making about 400,000 pesos per month. Divided by 50, that's about $8,000 per month. That's him. I never yet added the income of his wife. Because husband and wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
His wife, Annalisa Kaduya, okay, is making about 300,000 per month. That's additional 600,000 USD. Their combined income is about 14,000 per month US dollars. Per month. Let's talk about his past. 7 years ago. 7, 8 years ago, guess what? This guy finished 5th grade. This guy used to be a tricycle driver. I don't know if our, other friends from other countries know what a tricycle is. It's a motorcycle with a makeshift sidecar. And we use that for public transportation. So we call that tricycle. So he's just a tricycle driver. 5th grade. He never even finished elementary. So can you imagine? 5th grade, tricycle driver. I do not know how he was sponsored in the business. Maybe his sponsor couldn't look for anyone anymore. So that's why you come with me. Joined in Global, didn't know practically anything about networking. But the moment he sat down in the seminar room, attended trainings, the trainings changed his belief. His reality is that they are so poor. They didn't finish elementary. Tricycle driver lives in shanties or squatters area. That's his reality. But the belief when they attended is this: I can change my life. I will become successful. I will become a multimillionaire. I will buy my own car. I will have my own house. Now, let me ask you, what happened to his life? The things that we see now materializing in his life, do you think was based on his reality or was based on his belief? Based on his belief. That's why belief can change one's perception of life. How about Miss Gemma Hamisola? Gemma Hamisola of Cebu City. Factory worker for the last 18 years. Garments factory. Lives under the bridge. Somewhere in Mactan, Cebu. You know the bridge's name? Mactan New Bridge. They live there. And I do not need to describe to you how it is to live under the bridge. That's her reality. They are so poor. If you see Gemma personally, she's short lady, very timid, very shy, barely talks. That's her reality. But she believed. She'll become successful. That in Globus is her chance to become really successful financially. What happened to Gemma Hamisola? He is our top 2 distributor in the Visayas region back in the Philippines. Making about $500,000 pesos per month or $10,000 per month. Living in an 8 million house somewhere in southern Cebu. Has qualified for our profit sharing for 3 times already. This coming February 12 is her 3rd profit sharing award for the last 3 years. What's her reality? Poor, timid, didn't finish high school, factory worker, lives under the bridge, shanties, slum area. That's her reality. but her belief is different from her reality. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, in life, you do not get what you deserve. You get what you believe you deserve. So, change your belief. Persistence. We've talked about this earlier already. Motivation. Last night. We talked about that. Positive mental attitude means seeing things in positive ways. In positive ways. I started the year in networking with just 3 people coming from, 100 prospects. After talking to about 100 prospects after a month, I signed up 3 people. And you could see that as, those people who rejected me are more, of course, than those people who joined. But honestly, I thank those people that didn't join me because they taught me a very invaluable lesson. They made me tough. So, if there are a lot of challenges that you actually experience, take it positively because they are teaching you to be tough. They are actually preparing you for something bigger. Can you imagine if you try to talk to a lot of people and all those people say yes to you and will buy the 7 inch? All presentation, okay, I join you. After you presented, okay, I join you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if all the people in the world you talk to will join you? You have to be scared. I'm telling you, you have to be scared. Why? Because, God is giving you everything already. Maybe your time is near. Huh? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will complain that life is so hard. So let's just try to imagine, what if life is not hard? What if life is not, challenging? Probably a lot of people will be at the seashore, playing with their tummy because they're not doing anything. They're bored. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Leadership, of course. We're talking about you. Step up. Get out of your comfort zone. Assume leadership. People who make it big in this business have their own initiative. Leaders do not need to be pushed by someone else to move. Real leaders have initiative. You don't need to be constantly supervised to become successful. Even if you do not have uplines, even if your upline is not making follow-ups on you, this is your business, this is not the business of your upline, move along. Take action. This is not something like, when my upline is, very timid, she's weak, she's not supporting me, she's not a leader. Well, guess what? If your upline is not a leader, that's an opportunity for you to step up. If your upline is strong, then be grateful as well. You know why? It's a blessing. So either way, coming from my personal experience, when I started the business 21 years ago, I was never like this. I joined networking 21 years ago with a lot of conditions. My best friend was my sponsor, and I thank him, until this day. And until the rest of until the day I leave this world, I'm going to be thankful for my sponsor. So I turned him down, did the business, went back to see me. He was practically driving his brand new car after 7 months, then I joined. But I have many conditions. I will join, but never, never, ever make me talk in front. And guess what? The uplines, the sponsors, will promise you heaven and hell. Everything under the sun. Just to make you join. I was telling you, never make me talk. Oh, hey, Jordan. A lot of, conditions. I will never talk. You do it for me. I'll just bring prospects and everything. He keeps saying, okay, of course, just join. These uplines or sponsors, they promise you everything. So So when I signed up, I joined, I bought my registration package. Here comes the real thing. Can you imagine? So there was this experience, of course, when I was bringing people to the office, he would talk to my prospects and all. And one time I needed him for my seminar out of the country, out of town. And he was generous enough to give me time to talk to the people I organized somewhere. So he went there, talked about, 20, 25 people, and I was very happy. It was the first seminar I conducted with about 25 people I organized, and my upline was there talking and all. And I was saying that, yeah, he's making his promises true. He's being true to his promises. And after the seminar, he was like, people, you want me to go back here next Sunday? And my audience was saying, yeah! Okay, bring your prospects. Next Sunday, I will go back here. And I was, at the side, and, my ears were clapping. It was like, oh, my upline will go back and talk again. Wow! And we went home. He was driving his car, and I was really very thankful. And I was like, his name was June. June, thank you very much for volunteering again. And we will go back on Sunday. And he was silent and just driving the car. So I was like, thank you. I mean, it's really very generous of you. You're gonna give me time, etc. And the people are excited. And he was just driving the car. And then suddenly he broke his silence by telling me, you know what, Jurgen? I am not actually available on Sunday. And my heart started pounding. And you know that feeling when your heart is pounding and you're so nervous that even your saliva starts, tasting bitter. It's like your gallbladder went to the under your tongue. Because I know already what it means when he's not available by Sunday. And I was cursing him, and I was like, you cannot do this to me. You told me that you will do everything for me. I'm your best friend, remember? I was furious and all. And he was like, George, you can do that. I know, I trust you. You're a leader already. I've taught you already. You can do this. I was telling him, June, never do this to me. And we were debating and arguing. And when I told him, this really pissed me off when he answered me this way, when I asked him, when I told him, you know what, let's just drop the schedule this coming Sunday. And you know how he responded to me? Well, we can do that. It's your loss anyway, not mine. I never spoke a single word anymore after that until he dropped me off at my place. And I really slammed the door of his car when I went out. I felt bad. Anyway, I told myself I had a week at the time to prepare for the next Sunday. So I did my homework. I tried to, review the marketing plan. I went to the office and tried to study and observe the speakers, how they do it. And next Sunday comes my big day. I was alone, everything. And there was just about 25 people again, lots of first-timers. A lot of them were looking for June. And at the back of my mind again, I was cursing him again. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, what would you expect from a beginner like me? First time to talk in front, I had no public speaking skills. I took engineering. I didn't take marketing. I didn't take marketing, Lori. I didn't take marketing simply because I didn't want talking to people. So I was talking to this, writing at this Manila paper being stuck to the wall of the corner in the house, and I was like, I know I wasn't effective. And after my seminar, guess what? Nobody joined. And, after my seminar, I was like, what am I doing to my life? I should go back working, and, I should be, as an engineer, I should be going back to my job. And I was putting all those products inside my box. You know what I'm saying? But there was this old lady who approached me. She was very simple, wearing this, duster. And she was like, "Sir, can you do this type of seminar at my place?" And I was like, well, suddenly my eyes closed, because there was this old woman who I felt believed in me at that time. And I was like, "Of course, Tita. Okay, we can do this." And I taught her. She went to the office, got our registration package. Okay. And then her name is Tessie. So I called her Nanay Tessie. In Tagalog, Tagalog mother is Nanay. So Mother Tessie, so I call her Nanay Tessie. So Nanay Tessie went to join, and she was like, "Okay, let's do this at my place next time. I'll be inviting some of my friends." So I was very excited because among those 25 people or so, there was one lady who joined. And it was my first ever public speaking seminar. And I was like, well, probably I did good. So next Sunday, I will prepare, better this time and on. So I went to their place the following Sunday, and lo and behold, there were about 50 men, big men, waiting for me. 50 at least. So I was like, when I was holding my registration package, my products for demonstration, they're all big, and I was looking at them, going in front. I assembled my products and all. I made the presentation and everything. To cut it short, ladies and gentlemen, because I was surprised where did this old lady got this, 50 able men as my audience at the time. I learned after that, Nanay Tessie happens to work at the time to a ketchup factory. A repackaging ketchup factory, where you can see, for example, Jollibee, their sachet ketchup. She works at that factory, and she happens to be the oldest factory worker there, and everyone there treats her like a mother. So she has this authority that when she says, "Let's go attend the seminar," everybody attend. And when she says, "You know what? Everybody sign up." Everybody sign up and join me at that time. You know what I'm saying? So can you imagine how the good Lord works, how the universe works? I didn't personally, sponsored Nanay Tessie. She was just one of my, attendees at that time. Can you imagine, because of her, I was promoted easily in that marketing program. But if I did not take the chance, but if I was not courageous enough to stand up and, step up and become a leader, I would have never met Nanay Tessie. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there comes an opportunity for you, a chance for you that you really have to step up, because that moment is your breakthrough already. That moment could be your answered prayer already. It's just a matter of you taking the initiative. Because when the universe throws you the right opportunity for you, make sure that you are ready. Because looking back, even if God gave me Nanay Tessie and I wasn't prepared, I could have never gone that far in this industry. Are you with me?
Yes.
So when you go home tonight, look for your own Nanay Tessie. Learn and teach. You're learning tonight, you're learning because you'll be able to teach eventually in the future. As I was saying, great networkers are great trainers. We expect you to become trainers as well in the future. Take charge. Again, this is your responsibility. This is your life. This is your network. You cannot expect other people to develop and build your network. It's going to be your responsibility. So I always say, you cannot expect other people to do your own push-ups for you. You have to take charge. You want to lose weight? You do it for you. You don't let other people do it for you. You cannot say to your spouses or now, "Stop eating, look at me, I'm getting fat." You see what I'm saying? Okay. Self-identity being upline. You need to become a leader so that you can set the identity to your group being an upline. Because you have to establish authority, you have to establish power as an upline. And your downlines will never step up in the future if you as an upline do not step up at all. So take charge, be an example. You have to be a leader so that your downlines will be independent as well in the future. Because what you want to happen is that you want to develop groups. You want to develop people who are independent but never alone. Because if you have an organization or a network where downlines, everyone depend on you, well, you're not in a leveraged business anymore. So what you want to happen is that your downlines should be leaders as well like you, and they should be independent. In the first place, the contract that you've signed with AIM Global is that you being an independent distributor. It was not like a dependent distributor. It is independent distributor. Well, leaders, at the end of the day, there's a we pay, a price greater than ordinary people. We pay a price greater than ordinary people to such an extent that we are required to work longer and harder than others. That's why we are paid bigger. Are you with me?
Yes.
Leaders, well, sometimes your downlines are already home, you are still doing the meeting after meeting. Downlines are already sleeping, but you're still what? Checking your list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's active or not. Okay? And leaders, you have to, internalize that you are the master of your destiny, you are the captain of your ship. You handle the steering wheel of your life. So take charge, friends. Assume leadership. Even if your uplines are not here, okay? Don't tell yourself, well, my upline is not in the office anyway, so I'll not go there anymore. Do not become successful in this business with that kind of attitude. Well, my upline is not making calls or making a follow-up on me anyway, so I'll just be passive and not be active. Well, you cannot be like that. You have to always internalize and think that this is your business and this is not someone else's business. People like to associate themselves with people who know where they're going. So, when you assume leadership, a lot of people would like to associate themselves to you. Because people would like to be with people who knows where they're going, who have direction. You, being a downline, of course you want an upline to have a direction. So it's the same way. It's human behavior. We want to attach ourselves to people who have direction. So when you assume leadership, your downlines will also be proud of you. Your downlines, of course, will also be loyal to you because of your vision, because of your leadership. That's why, a lot of people stick to their organization because they look up to their uplines. So if you want to become strong uplines, I'm telling you, assume leadership. Be a leader. Step up. Get out of your comfort zone. Break your own shells. Go out there. Essential qualities of leaders. Okay? You must encourage. Can you imagine my personal experience if I was too afraid at the time to assume leadership, then I could have never met my own nanay destiny. Burning desire. You must have emotional stamina. You must have physical stamina. It's very hard to build a network without emotional and physical stamina. Empathy, feeling for others. Decisiveness, decision-making, fast decision-making. Cannot be slow. You have to be decisive. If you feel that your prospect will not join, go to the next. Do not wait. Be decisive. A lot of us get stuck to our own place because we're too indecisive. It's very slow. We're very slow to decide, to move, and go on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they have a hard time moving on to their lives. If your prospect do not like the business, move on. Do not wait. If your girlfriend doesn't like you anymore, move on. There are so many fish in the ocean. Stop with your personal dramas. Like, I cannot do it. I'm so in love. There's worse to that. They will say, I'm gonna die. Imagine. Decisiveness, competitiveness. Competitive means, willingness to win. It doesn't mean you have to compete with others, but you have to compete with yourself in terms of winning. Self-confidence. Confidence is free, but it can give you a lot of money. Leaders are accountable. Of course, you have to take into consideration a lot of our policies. You do not just do the business, irresponsibly. Responsibility, credibility, dependability. Okay. Stewardship, and of course, leaders are loyal. They are loyal to their groups. They are loyal to their people. Love your people. Programs. This is still part of you. Of so many things, one of the many things that you have to change in this business is your program. Because the mind is like a computer. It's actually programmed. Programmed since we were children. Okay? Based on the information that got in, since we don't have any filtering mechanism since we are children. Anything that got into it, we just absorbed it and believed in it. That's why the children has the most fertile soil. Because what you plant there, 100% it will grow, whether bad or good. So beware of the things that you say to your children. Beware of the movies that you make them watch. Beware of the things that you make them read. Because, they grow because their mind is fertile, 100%. Unfortunately, there are so many misinformation, wrong belief system that were injected into our minds since we were children, and that are still here right now that we are adult already. And I call those things like programs in computer, they are corrupted by virus. And those virus are what? Those misinformations, those social conditioning. That money is bad, for example. Oh, they are rich because they are bad. You know what I'm saying? That money is not good. That it is better to be poor. Not to become too ambitious. Can you imagine? When you come from a poor family, what you can hear from your parents is that, don't be too ambitious. We're just poor. And you're a child. And can you imagine your mother and your father are talking about, life is so tough, it's hard to make money, and you're still very little. And you're hearing those things, getting into your mind, life is tough, it's hard to make money, it's hard to make money, life is tough. So now that you're adult and grown up, life is tough, hard to make money. Because that was injected into your mind and now getting manifested in your life. You get my point?
Yes.
So we have to get rid of those virus. Okay? Like limiting beliefs. I cannot do that. I'm not too good. I'm not pretty. I'm not handsome. You know what I'm saying? One thing you have to understand is, those are the labels that the society just created. Because in essence, those are just labels. Okay? Labels. Labels. Those are just labels. You're pretty or not, you're fat or not, you're sexy or not. Those are just labels. Because at the end of the day, the real truth is, you are a wonderful creation of God. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? So don't be, don't be conditioned by these things. We call that social conditioning. We are so conditioned by the media, by the models that you see in the billboards. Especially the fashion, 90% of fashion is actually for women. And I'm sorry, but one of the most complicated creatures in the world are women. When you curl your hair, the next day after, you want them straight. When they're brown, you want them black. When they black, you want them red. What do you really want? You try to pluck your eyebrows, but before you leave, you try to put this eyebrow teacher or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They go to the mall. When guys go to the mall and buy a pair of shoes, we know what we want. You go to the store, check it out, you know, try them on. That's it. The ladies. They go to this person's store. They try it on. And they will say to the sales lady, okay, I'll just go around and, you know, go to the next store again. Try another pair of shoes. Go to the next store again. Try another pair of shoes. Guess what? At the end of the day, they go back to the first store. I don't understand. Are you with me?
Yes.
You know, the society is created by all these, you know, commercials and everything, TV ads. That's why we never get satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? And so, because the society has created this standard or labels, a lot of us would like to live up to that label. A lot of us would like to live up to that standard. A lot of us would like to live up to that kind of image. But the truth is, it was not there when the world was created. It was just the humans, the society, this big business establishment created this kind of hunger and, you know, this kind of dissatisfaction, this kind of this drive that make us want to become like that. So the truth is, you know, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're beautiful. You have to believe that you're pretty, that you're handsome. So when you go tonight and you know, look at the person in front of the mirror, always love that person. You know, you're so handsome. I love you. Well, you have to love yourself. The number one indication that you don't love yourself is that if you compare yourself to other people, you don't love yourself. It's like, her eyebrows are nice. I wish I'm that sexy like her. You don't love yourself, you don't love yourself. You know what I'm saying? So the number one indication that you're not happy with yourself, that you don't love yourself, is that you look for something else that you wish could be found in your body. So, you know, let me tell you one universal law in this universe. Before other people love you, you have to love yourself first. So break off with that limiting beliefs. You can do this. Don't tell yourself, I'm not good enough. Break it off. Break those limiting beliefs. Patterns. There are a lot of people that have the same patterns happening in their lives. They are accident-prone pattern, always broke pattern, always broken-hearted pattern, always being left by their partners. And you know why these things are happening? Because of your mindset. Because you never break off with your old limiting patterns or your patterns, the patterns that keep repeating in your mind. So if you want to have abundance in your life, you have to have abundance mentality. You know what I'm saying? If you want a lot of people to go out, you know, if you want a lot of guys to go after you, then you have to tell yourself that, you know, I'm good and I'm a very scarce commodity. That's why a lot of guys should like you. Instead of, you know, instead of this story that when this 21-year-old lady, finished, college, started with her life, she's praying for the Lord, please give me a handsome guy, a rich guy, a young guy, and a healthy guy, and a lot of things. When she reached 25 and nobody came yet, well, God just gave me handsome, rich, young. When she's 30, just give me healthy guy. At 40, not no one yet, just give me any guy. You have to break your pattern. You know what I'm saying about patterns? Who among you have this habit when, for the last few years, you've always been late. Always late in your appointments, always late at work, always late. And one day you promise yourself, well, today is going to be a new day. I won't be late starting today. You woke up 2 hours earlier than the usual. Went to the office because you don't like to be late. But you keep telling yourself, I won't be late, I won't be late, I won't be late, I won't be late, I won't be late. Guess what? 2 hours early, and you won't be late. Remember, you won't be late. There was an accident in the highway. And still, you came to the office late. Because the mind, let me tell you how the mind works. The mind cannot negate. It cannot negate. What do you mean it cannot negate? Don't think of a white elephant. What are you thinking?
White elephant.
Because the mind cannot negate. Are you with me?
Yes.
Do not think of a red car.
No, I want a white car.
No, don't control it, but the mind flashed a red car. Now that you're conscious, you were like, I will change. But initially, the image that popped out was red car, and you just change it to white, or blue, or orange. But the mind cannot negate. So instead of you saying, I won't be late, I will be on time. I will be on time. I will be on time. Instead of you, I hope it won't rain. I hope it won't rain. And guess what? It rained. I have that kind of pattern when normally I go to have my car washed. Well, I hope it won't rain. I hope it won't rain. Lo and behold, after car wash, it normally rains. Because we attract what we think. So, you know what I'm saying? How many of you has never been saving from your salary for the last few months? And one day you told yourself, well, you know what? I'll start saving up. I'll start saving up. I'm not going to use my credit card anymore. I'll start saving up. And guess what? I'll start saving up. I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be broke anymore. Guess what? A few dollars that you saved, suddenly you lost your phone. And the dollar you saved, you used to buy a new phone. Still no savings. Why is that pattern happening? Because the mind, again, cannot negate. Are you with me?
Yes.
Those who are always in a broken relationship. They get the relationship, after 2 years, they broke up, got another relationship, another 2 years, broke up, got another relationship, 2 years after that, they break up again. You know why that happens? Because after relationship, from one relationship to another, and they come to another relationship, got into another relationship, they would normally say, oh, 2 years from now, probably I'll break up again with this guy. That's why it keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. I used to have this kind of pattern that when I'm wearing any white shirt, polo or whatever, any white top, every time I eat anything with sauce, I normally or accidentally, get a splash on my white shirt. Because you know what? My pattern is this. Oh, I'm wearing white again. I must be careful. I eat chicken joy and the gravy drop again. Wow, guys. See? See? You know what I'm saying? You are confirming. We try to confirm these patterns in our lives by our power. So if you want to break that, like in networking, I have a good feeling this won't show up. And they didn't show up or he didn't show up. See? He didn't show up. I'm right. You see? You know what I'm saying now? Those are patterns. Break those kind of patterns. Okay? Social conditioning. Don't be affected by the social conditioning. The way the society, the media is conditioning us. What is beautiful, what is not. Who says? Who set that standard? What is beautiful and not? Let me ask you. Who set that standard? It's the society. It's the society. Did the universe say that? Did God say who is God, beautiful or not?
No.
It's the society. That's why being good or bad is subjective. Being good or bad is subjective. It cannot be universal. Because in some nations, one thing about this thing is good, but in some nations, one thing about this is not good. You know what I'm saying? For one person, eating pork is bad. But to another person, eating pork is okay. For one person, eating a pig's blood is okay. Like in the Philippines, some people eat dinuguan. But to some people, eating pig's blood is bad. That's why what is good and bad is purely subjective. It can't be universal. What can be good to you can be bad to me. What can be bad to me could be good to you. You see? So these are just labels and standards that the society have set. And guess what? We have to break from it and not be dictated but by what the society has set upon us. Do not believe everything you think. I will repeat. Do not believe everything you think. Because the mind has a thinking of its own that is not actually in congruence with our own belief. That's why you tell yourself sometimes, I hate myself. I hate what I'm thinking. Are you with me?
Yes.
So stop with that. The herd mentality. Not because everyone is doing it is the right thing to do. It's a herd mentality. We tend to follow what most people do. Well, sometimes I see that. Like there's a lot of line in the Philippines, for example, there's a lot of ATM machines. Like for example, 3 ATM machines. And when I go to the line, I will say, the 2 other ATM have no lines. People lining up. There's no people lining up to the 2 machines. And there is this one long line where people are lining up. So normally, what would you think? When you're going to get money, well, probably those 2 machines are not working. I might as well fall with this one. Right? Without you actually checking. That's herd mentality. So what I normally do, because I know this training, I normally check first myself if it's really not working. And most of the time, they are working. So I get my money, and guess what? People's like lining up at my back. You know what I'm saying? Have you experienced that? Yes. That, you know, since people are lining up to this, well, I might also line up to this. Okay, like in the airport, or you will see, sometimes in the Philippines, you see, if you go outside the Philippines, there's a line for the OFW, there's a line for the, you know, regular passport holders. And you will see a lot of non-OFW falling in line to the regular line. Because there's a big sign of overseas Filipino workers, OFW. So, of course, if you try to do the numbers, there are more people going out of the Philippines that are not OFW. So the line to that non-OFW line are long. And to the OFW line, it's short. So, you know, when you go there, and you're just gonna go out of the country for, let's say, a visit to a certain place, where are you gonna fall in line? Where are you gonna fall in line? Non-OFW. Because you're not an OFW anyway. But sometimes it's too long. Because your thinking is that, well, maybe I'm not allowed to the OFW line. But most of the time, anyone is allowed to that OFW line as well. You know what I mean? You're following me?
Yes.
Sometimes you make a lot of decisions based on herd mentality. When a lot of people is doing that or are like that, let's just follow that because that's the safest, you know. Well, as networkers, you can follow the herd. You have to set your own direction as a network marketer. Because for all we know, the right direction is not employment, but network marketing. Alright? Okay. Change your financial blueprint. Okay. Your psychological wallet. Expand your psychological wallet. Make big money. You have to know the difference between big money and small money. Big money and small money. Oh. 10,000. Let's say, how much is the minimum here again in UAE per month? 1,000? 2,000. Oh, 2,000 AED per month times 12 months. This is 24,000 times 10 years. Okay? 2,000 per month times 12 months is how much? 24,000. 24,000 per month times 10 years, how much? 240,000 AED. Big money, small money? To a lot of people, their blueprint is, this is big. But that is actually small. Because 10 years. What if I tell you, this one, 20,000, okay, AED, times 12 months, times 1 year. How much is that? 240,000 also. It's basically the same. Am I right? Yes. Because what I did is just the zero here, in 10 years, I added here. But instead of 10 years there, it's only 1 year. 20,000 AED times 12 months times 1 year, that's 240,000 AED as well. But this is a big money. Are you with me? Yes. They are the same amount, but by perspective, they're different. You have to change your psychological one. Now, I'm telling you here in AED, in UAE, if you perceive the new package as, you know, it's too big, 1,250 AED, it's too big, can you imagine? How can 20,000 AED go to your pocket when your mind perceives this as already big? You know what I'm saying? Yes. If your mind perceives this as too expensive, too big, believe me, the 2,000, 20,000 AED per month earning potential of AIM Global will never happen to you. Will never come to you. So just try to, you know, treat this as, oh, it's just small. People can afford that. Because if you see this as really big money, can you imagine what will happen to you? If this comes to your pocket, maybe you will die already. Because your mind cannot absorb it anymore. Are you with me? Yes. Okay. Tonight, you will have to let go of those things that no longer serve you and help you. To change the fruits, you have to change the roots. What do I pertain to this? You want to change your result, the fruits? Change your mindset. Because whatever that is happening to you is a result of what's going on through your mind or inside your mind. So please, be aware, be careful what you put inside your mind. Are you with me?
Yes.
people can only learn what's the power of their mind, a lot of you will be able to change your lives.
Yes.
Just a simple switch in your mindset will actually change what? Your health, your relationship, your career, your financial status, just by changing your mindset. Because, you know, when you change the way you think, a lot of things happen in your body, physiologically speaking. Okay, anyway, that's a different topic. I will be discussing that in the future probably. So, key attributes of peak performers. Well, I will have to go through this one by one, but I just want to, you know, browse this. Knowledge, products, the technical aspects, company, customers, competition, business, finance. Can you imagine? If you want in global, if you want networking to be your career, I'm telling you, you should all be familiar with this 7. Okay? This 1, 2, 3 is inside in global. Okay? The products, the company, customers are all about in global. Competition, business, industry is outside in global. Number 7 is inside. So do not just be familiar with what is happening inside the company. Be familiar with what's happening all over the world. What's the impact of the economy to network marketing? Why networking will thrive in the future? Because people nowadays are different. A lot of people are enterprising. A lot of people would want to become the boss of their own. Unlike before, traditionally speaking, like in times, I mean, during the times of my parents probably, the traditional ones would be just, you know, go to school, get good grades, and go look for a good job. Now, people would want to be a business owners, people would want to become their own boss. So it's different nowadays. And of course, you have to have a deep knowledge about yourself. You have to know yourself. Okay? Attitudes and belief, concept of self-image, concept of self-ideal, and concept of self-esteem. I'm telling you, if you want to become successful distributor, you have to have a high self-esteem. You have to have a confidence in yourself. High confidence about yourself. So let's talk about that. How do you improve your self-image? Okay? Number 1, accept compliments and say thank you. You improve your self-image by saying that, by telling that. When people tell you, oh, you're so pretty, thank you. Do not say, oh, you're so pretty. No, it took you an hour putting all those things in your face, and when people give you compliment, are you with me?
Yes.
When people say you're good, you tell thank you. You look them in the eye and you say thank you. When people congratulate you, thank you. When people tell you, good job, job well done, you say, thank you. Compliment. Well, if you say thank you, and people say compliment to you, give it back as well. Learn to say compliment also. Okay? Learn to say, if they're beautiful, then tell them they're beautiful. Don't tell them like, her eyebrows are not symmetrical. She's supposed to have good eyes, but you were saying, oh, she has morning glory. Alam niyo yung morning glory? Muta. Praise yourself. Praising yourself is different from being conceited. Praise yourself like, I think I did good today. I think I was able to do good in terms of closing that 7 heads earlier. I think I did a good job because my boss just thanked me. So say wonderful things about yourself. Praise yourself. For example, you run for 1 minute. Praise yourself. I run for 1 minute. Maybe that's 2 calories already. Instead of not running, okay, or losing any calories at all. Always speak well of yourself. Say affirmative words like, I'm good, okay, I can do this, I'm positive, I'm capable, I'm healthy. Okay. Do not say disempowering words. You know, one of the best ways to kill a negative attitude is when they are still starting in your mind, because that is where they are weakest. That is where they are the weakest. So, when a young negative attitude pops up out of your mind, or your self-dialogue is negative, always say these three powerful words. Stop, delete, cancel. Okay? Because most of our self-dialogues are negative, so you just cut them off. How do you cut them off? Stop, delete, cancel. They will be gone. Or you cannot, even if you say it in your mind, silently. You don't need to say it loudly. Because you're gonna appear like a freak. Like you're inside the train and you say, stop, cancel. Separate your behavior from yourself. So don't be too hard on yourself. If you commit mistakes, then move on. Don't tell yourself, I hate myself. I cannot forgive myself. I forgot. One of the limiting beliefs we have is these words. I am getting old. When you forget your ballpen or wallet, I'm really getting old. It's me. So remember that age is just a number. Well, you know what? When I was a lot younger, I couldn't understand that why people say age is just a number. When I reached 30 last year, I understood. Self-image, treat your body well. Because sometimes our confidence comes from our physical attributes. So help yourself to also have that kind of self-image. Let people know how you expect to be treated. If you want respect, well, you have to give respect. If you want to be, if you're on time, if you're prompt, then you have to show people that, you value time. Because coming on time means giving respect to other people's time. Do you know that?
Yes.
That when you come on time, it's not about you. It's about, other people. Okay? So, stop that mentality of Filipino time. Get around with good people. The law of association. You associate yourselves with good people. Read books that will give you inspiration. I told you last night, your life will depend on the books that you read, the people you associate yourselves with, the movies that you watch 5 years from now. Okay? Always picture in your mind how you want, not how you are. So advance yourself in advance. You will then necessarily gravitate toward your dominant thought. Picture yourself. Like if you want to be, you're 200 pounds now and you want to be 150 pounds, always picture yourself in 150 pounds. If you want to become a successful distributor, always see yourself in advance, like talking in front of a lot of people, because those people are your downlines. Do not picture yourself like you're always alone, because your mind will eventually gravitate towards that reality. Okay. 7 universal laws of selling. This is simple. Law of cause and effect. If something happens, then something costs it. If you got a pay-in because you presented, that's it. If you have a prospect, because you've invited someone. If someone showed up, because you did something. Do not expect that, I have no pay-in. Did you do something? Nothing. You're crazy. Are you with me?
Yes.
Law of compensation, you get what you put in terms of effort. Okay? So do not complain if you're not pouring everything that you've got. You have to give your 100%. Law of control. You feel good if you are in control of your life. So take charge. It feels better if you are in control. Are you with me?
Yes.
It feels good that when you're in the steering wheel, instead of just being the passenger. Law of belief. Whatever you believe becomes your
reality.
Belief can change how you perceive reality. Because the universe will follow not your reality, but how you believe things. That's why I told you earlier, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you believe you deserve. Law of concentration, whatever you dwell upon grows. So by law of focus, where your focus, wherever you put your focus, guess what? Energy flows. Energy flows. Law of attraction, whatever you imagine, you can create. So always imagine, always visualize exciting results. See yourself as a successful distributor. See yourself as a Diamond Global Ambassador. See exciting results in advance. Believe by knowing you have already arrived. Again, I will repeat. Believe by knowing you have already arrived. Start by believing in yourself that you've already arrived. In your mind, it's already done. We're just working for it. Okay? Law of correspondence, your outer world, whatever is happening to you, outer world, is a reflection of your inner world. Your outer world is what? Your health, your relationship, your financial status, your wallet. That's your outer world. To change the fruits, change the roots. What's the root? The inner world. What is your inner world? Your mind, your attitude, your emotions, your feelings. Your feelings. So I'm telling you, one very important secret. Happiness drives everything in this world. Trust me. So make sure you are happy in ENGR Global. Yes. Even if it's hard, happiness drives you. Even if it's hard being here in a foreign land, happiness drives you because you get satisfaction by sending money back to your family. Are you with me? Yes. So happiness drives everything practically. So make sure that when you're in ENGR Global, even if your prospects are not showing up, you're not yet making tangible income and all, you should be happy. You wake up every day and you say to yourself, well, I'm blessed. I'm thankful because I'm in ENGR Global. I've got ENGR Global. Do not wake up and say, no, I will go to the office of ENGR again. I will recruit again. Okay? So, these are the laws of selling, but as a network marketer, we have the 8th law. And that law is the law of numbers. Nothing beats numbers. Nothing beats numbers. So, those of you who are doing online here, how many of you are doing the online marketing here? Okay, let me show you this. Online. Nothing beats numbers. Now, let me ask you, in terms of presentation, which is longer, online or offline?
Offline.
Which is longer?
Offline.
Which is shorter?
Online.
Because in online, you already have this template.
Yes.
You already have this script where you just, copy paste and copy paste. Maximum minute in terms of presentation. When your prospects are not that, inquisitive, they don't ask a lot of questions and all, just merely presentation. How many minutes would you normally present the business?
3.
Probably 10. Maximum. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay.
5 minutes.
10 minutes per prospect. Now, to those who are doing this online, do you think, how many hours do you normally do the business by online marketing? Per day. Because you're tired from work and all, probably before you sleep, you do some online and all. On the average, those of you doing the online marketing, how many of you,
3. 4.
okay, or how many hours do you normally do your online business before you, sleep? Normally?
3.
2, 3. So, let's say 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours per day. Now, 10 minutes maximum presentation per prospect. Which means, in 60 minutes, how many prospects you should have talked to?
6.
6. In 2 hours, how many prospects
12.
should have talked to? 12. Should have talked to 12 prospects per day.
Yes.
And if you are doing the business part-time, every day at least 2 hours for 30 days, you must have talked to at least 360 prospects per month. Let's say you're lazy. Let's just half everything. From 360, you talk to 180 per month. Don't tell me 180 people, not even a single pay-in you will get. Let's say you're super lazy. You just presented to 90 people in 1 month. Again, this is average, 360. 180 is lazy. 90, super lazy. Don't tell me you will never get a pay-in out of 90 people in 1 month. This is just a numbers game. Normally, you don't get enough pay-in because you don't present. Or you just present one person every day. One person every day is just 30 people every month. Are you with me?
Yes.
So increase the numbers of presentation, you increase the probability of paying. That's the law of numbers. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, are you learning?
Yes.
Okay, next. Skills. Well, I don't have to, do this one by one. I just want you to say this or take a picture of the areas that you need to improve. As a network marketer, you have to really be good in these areas, skills. Okay? Again, I said last night, your income will be based upon your skills. Okay? Same way with your work. You're being paid based on your skills. The highly skilled you are, the better pay you get. Are you with me?
Yes.
That's why if you work for a visa in the US, like highly skilled workers, they have a special visa for that. And they get paid a lot being highly skilled people. Okay? Habits, have to be good in goal setting, be able to manage your time well, organize yourself. Okay? You must have GMRC. Everything we learn, everything that is important in life, we learned actually in kindergarten. I will repeat. Everything important in life, we actually learned in kindergarten. When you were in kindergarten, what did the teacher say? Okay? What did the teacher say? Do not hurt your schoolmate. Do not hurt your classmate. When you try to, get a toy, put them back. Something like that. Brush your teeth in the morning. Be courteous, be polite. Everything important in life we learned in kindergarten. And that's it. Good manners and right conduct. Be professionals. Learn how to say thank you. Learn how to say, learn to smile. Learn to say, please. Okay? Learn to say excuse me. Learn to say pardon me. Forgive me. Say sorry. Okay? Proper hygiene. It's very hard to convince people if you're not. Like if you're presenting the business and you did not cut your nails, and the prospect is thinking, you say we will become successful here, we will make a lot of money. And people will say, the prospect will probably say, they can plant something in there. Make sure to brush your teeth before you throw up your prospects. It's very hard to, present, and the prospect will say, oh, I know what you ate earlier. And you say, what? The prospect will say, Well, something really greeny. Greeny leaf. Because you have a greeny leaf. And you will respond, no, it was yesterday.
Overnight.
Oh. Action! We're almost done. Okay. We're done with you. We're now in action. What are you willing to do? Are you gonna try? Do your best, or whatever it takes. If you want to become successful, then do whatever it takes. Are you willing to sacrifice? Yes or no?
Yes!
Ask yourself, have you mastered all the skills available? If not, then keep learning. If not, then keep learning, because learning is a never-ending process. Am I doing the most productive thing at any given moment? So you always, seize your day. You always seize your moment. Okay? It's about going back to basic, because success in this business is not actually complicated. You observe those people who are very successful here, and believe me, you will observe and you will learn that these successful people just do the basics frequently. That's why they are very successful. The main idea is to build an organization of motivated people. This is a requirement to become a successful distributor. Okay. Learn the skills first. We're almost done. It's very important. Okay? Learn the skills first. What are the skills? Retail, sponsor, and coach. Can you say that? Number 1 is? Retail. Number 2 is? Sponsor. Number 3 is? Coach. Those are just the most important skills in networking. Okay. Learn skills through knowledge, coaching, and practice. Numbers are created by everyone learning and working the network system. Because can you imagine if you have 1,000 people who can retail the products, who can, each of those 1,000 people to sponsor, and each of those 1,000 can coach. You have a very effective network. What is the network system? A business based on a system, which means people can be working if you want to stop. Do you want that? Do you want that kind of system? Where one day when you stop doing the business of networking, you still make money because you are able to duplicate yourself so well. Do you like that?
Yes.
It means when people stop working, it means that people can be working if you want to stop. Even if you stop doing the network, you can still make money. It means that people can be working in other cities, countries, and languages. Everyone can succeed because everyone is working the same system based on skills. So let's try to imagine this. You're able to develop, let's say, 1,000 people here in UAE. You are able to coach them just following the network-based system. One day, they all grew and expanded everywhere. Because you have the same system, do you think they will expand simultaneously outside UAE?
Yes.
You see? So in AIM Global, in networking, you do not just develop. We create a system. That one day, even if all your downlines are gone and they're everywhere, you're still making money. Okay? The success secret is competence. What do you mean by competence? Good in skills. So you must be good in skills, and your downline should also be good in skills as well. The more competent your downlines become, the more confident they become. Because have you felt something that you're really good at something, and you have this kind of confidence to, boast about it or put a wager on something? Like if you're good in playing billiards, what do you normally do? You become confident. Anyone would like to bet or put a wager? Because you're good. So competence leads to increased confidence. If you're good at presentation, you keep looking for prospects. But if you're not good in invitation and prospecting, and you're not good in presentation, you don't like to talk to anyone. If you don't talk to anyone, then there's no production. No production means no result. So it's very easy. Make your downlines, make yourself competent, because it leads to increased confidence. And confidence leads to increased result. It's very simple. Very, very simple. Remember, independent distributors are the key to success. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Stay with me on this. How do you become competent? 3 areas. KSA. We also have this in employment. Remember KSA? Key result areas. KRA and KSA. Knowledge, skills, and competence. Knowledge, skills, and attitude. In the middle is competence. Okay. I will not discuss that anymore. Accelerate your learning. Learn as fast as you can. This is your career. This is not a race in terms of getting your result. So, you know, the new book that says, the new fast. You know what's the new fast nowadays? Slow is fast. I'll repeat. You can buy that book. The new fast nowadays is not fast. Slow is the new fast. If you know that adage, that's very powerful. It means you don't get after the result outright that fast. What you do slowly, you build yourself. You build your skills. You build your character. That may seem slow, but let me tell you, it will get you there faster than anything else. So slow is the new fast. Okay? You need to be tested. Well, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of challenges and obstacles along the way. You cannot expect consistent result until you are completely competent. Practice, practice, practice. Be patient and be patient and be patient. And always persevere. Okay. Okay? Bakit nandyan yan? Isama lang. Sorry. Okay. Alright. Let's talk about creating a tidal wave in your group. Do you want a tidal wave in your group?
Yes.
You want a tsunami in your group?
Yes.
How to create that? So, this is the network income curve. You know, when I normally discuss, I'm very scientific with statistics and data. Okay? So, this is the income, and these are the people, linear. You will see that normally everything starts at 0. Slowly and slowly, you build people, and as you build people, slowly and slowly, your income grows. When the power of duplication takes control of your network because you are able to learn and teach and coach people, it will grow with little or no effort on your part. That is what you call momentum. The hardest part when a plane normally takes off, normally, it consumes a lot of energy, it consumes a lot of airplane fuel and all the engines are in full throttle. Normally, what stage is that? Take-off, landing, or, gliding? Take-off. In global, it's the same. The hardest part, the part where you need the most energy, where you give it all, where you have to give it your all, is the take-off in the beginning stage. Because you're trying to defy the gravity. But once it's taken off and it's there, and it's cruising, it's a lot easier. So, when you're having a hard time building your network and taking off, you're in the right direction. Because everything, when it's easy and there's no gravity, it just simply means you're falling down. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Churn and gravity, when an airplane takes off, there are two, normally, not actually a momentum destroyer, but there are normally two issues that prevent momentum, okay? Or destroys momentum. Churn and gravity. Churn is the shaking. Gravity, of course, is the pull. So, in networking, churn pertains to the attrition. And gravity is the negative attitude or emotion. Because negative attitude is like gravity that pulls you down. I've seen many networks grow only to be crushed by the gravity, by the negative emotion, negative attitude of the uplines. It's very hard to build a network, but let me tell you, just one snap, because of negativity, negative emotion, negative attitude, by the power of that, it's like gravity. It will pull anything down. So speed is the key. You want to become successful? Ladies and gentlemen, always be on the go. Speed. Always talk to people. Do not be idle. You know what I'm saying by idle? You're just in one place and you're not doing anything. Always be mobile, moving. Because speed, that the universe loves speed. Loves speed. You know, if you're always on the go, you will be more blessed. Gaining enough momentum to take off and speed that overcomes gravity. Taking off, how do you take off? Like this shuttle. Maximum energy. Give it your best shot. Give it your all. As I always say in Tagalog, kung meron kang agimat, birtud at anting-anting, ilabas mo na. In English, if you have special powers like that of a talisman, bring it on. Make it of use. It's now that you have to, really use it. Are you with me?
Yes.
Massive action. Huwag papatay-patay. Okay? Don't be sloppy. Okay? Sloppy. So massive action. And have a sense of urgency. Because when you have a sense of urgency, you will communicate an urgency that will be felt by your people. One thing about you, you have to be moving always. You have to be always, on the go, like bringing people here, showing up in the office, bringing some new members, some new prospects. You send a message to your downlines that you are active, that you have this kind of sense of urgency. And when you move that way, it actually affects the whole network, especially your leaders. My upline, when I was very, very active, every time I see my personal upline, my sponsor, bring in a new prospect in the office, and my upline or sponsor make us, he lets this new prospect talk to us. Guess what? After we talk to his prospect, I feel really, I feel envious actually. I feel like, how come he's already number one and he still has a prospect? I'm not even in the top 20 and here I am sitting in the office with no one. You know what I'm saying? It challenges me. Seeing my sponsor having a new directly sponsored downline. So it's the same effect with your downline. If you come here with a lot of people, prospects and all, and let your downline see your prospects, your new people, then they will also be challenged and inspired as well. Are you with me?
Yes.
But if you go here with no one, your downlines will also follow you. You will all see the same faces here in the office. Your urgent action creates action in others, in your team, so that you get sponsoring speed and thus your network takes off. Last, coaching. Now, I want you to really, look into this seriously. Because they made a survey all over the world in direct selling and multi-level marketing, and they came up with the number one reason, down to the list reason why people leave. So this is arranged in such a way that A is the number one reason, down to the list reason why people leave. The number one people leave, you know why? It's poor communication, or miscommunication, or no communication at all. Misinterpretation of the message, or they did not get the message across effectively. So as leaders, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get the message, or you give the message across clearly to your people. Be sensitive. Words are more powerful than swords, because words tend to hurt more people than swords. So learn to use the right words. Learn to be empathic and sensitive to people. People leave because they get hurt. People leave because they thought their reputation was destroyed. People leave because they are not happy with their leader anymore, because the leader cannot motivate their downlines. Insufficient support. Poor leadership. Insufficient support means, a lot of people, a lot of Distributors are misguided because they don't know what to do, simply because the uplines do not also know what to do. How can the upline support the downlines if the upline themselves are confused, do not know what to do simply because they are lazy to learn, they do not go to the office, they don't want to be mentored by their uplines, so they cannot support their downlines. You know, our new downlines need our support in terms of direction, in terms of vision, in terms of training, them so that they will be able to acquire the right skills. So how can you support your downlines if you do not know anything? Poor leadership, we've discussed this earlier. Poor leadership, you know, leaders who uplines are not able to overcome their fear, who do not have the credibility, who are not courageous, who do not have the emotional and physical stamina, who are not, you know, accountable. Okay. Lack of training. Well, A, B, C, D, for me, are all a question of leadership. A, B, C, D are all about leadership. The least reason why people leave is actually insufficient income. People do not leave because they are not making money. No. I've been here for 21 years. I've seen people stay in this business even if they are not making money. But I've seen people leave even if they are making a lot of money. It could be an issue, but it is not the number one issue. People stay, you know what? Because they are happy. People stay because, you know what? They learn a lot. They are happy with their company. They are happy with their group. They are happy with their uplines. They find, you know, satisfaction and recognition inside their group. So I'm showing you this because I believe one day this could help you. This piece can really help you in terms of building your group effectively. You will know, at least you have the information why people leave so that you will be able to, you know, avoid doing this so that your people will stay. Because in network marketing, the truth is, getting together is just the beginning. Staying and keeping is the real multi-level marketing. There's no point of people going in, joining, and then leaving after that. That's not networking. Networking is, you know, people joining, empowering them, developing them, making them leaders as well, and then making them successful, and also become a force for good to their group as well. Coaching is the highest paid and worst performed skill by builders. Again, I will repeat. It is the highest paid and worst performed skill by builders. Why? It is the highest paid because this is the skill that actually develops the network. Coaching, training, mentoring are the skills that develop the network. When I say that develop the network, that grows, that multiplies the people. All sponsoring does is build a base of people to grow from. Coaching is the worst performed skills because most people are confused about what they need to do. Okay? Because after having a lot of people under your group, the best skills that you can do or learn is how to coach people. Because you would want to duplicate yourself and create many leaders down the line. But, you know, this part, coaching, is actually in the growing part. That's not your job yet. Remember, there are 3 stages in networking, as I mentioned. Building, what's next? Growing, and keeping. In growing, coaching is the most important skills. But, you cannot go to growing stage where you coach people when you haven't built yet. Who are you gonna coach if you have no people? 0 multiplied by any powerful thing is still equal to 0. Let's say your coaching skill, your growing skill from 1 to 10, let's say your growing skills is 10. You're very good. But you have nothing to coach. No one to coach. No one to guide. Nothing. Are you with me? Yes. So, we talk about coaching when you're in the growing stage. In UAE, for the last 3 years, believe me, we are still on the building stage. You are still, even if you joined AIM Global UAE just now, even if we're 3 years here already, I'm telling you, those of you who are new ones, you are still on the pioneering stage of AIM Global UAE. Why are you in the pioneering stage? Because we're still on the building stage. We're still on the building stage. And even though that AIM Global has been existing for the last 11 years, especially in the Philippines, because of the innovation that we've made, AIM Global again is like on a building stage with reference to the new marketing plan that we have. So as I said last night, the best time to join AIM Global is 11 years ago and now. So don't miss this opportunity. Are you with me?
Yes.
So tomorrow will be another session with you guys. And tomorrow is another special session because we will have a leaders meeting which will be led no less than the President, Dr. Ed Cabantol. And we will be formally introducing Mr. TJ Villanueva tomorrow. We will be staying with you guys here for a couple of weeks. And as soon as we work, his working permit and all the papers necessary, he will be staying here in the Middle East for the next 6 months to be of help to each and every one of you, to really guide you in terms of building your network, because he has also extensive experience in networking, because he himself was a very successful network marketer as well. So you will be able to learn a lot from him. So tomorrow will be like a teaser, because we will let him speak in front of you guys so that we can all have this getting to know each other tomorrow. Because we're getting to know each other. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I end my presentation. Thank you very much and see you all tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, share, and comment for more future trainings. Bye-bye!